Hey guys, Attorney Walter Hnot, and I want to go straight into this. California is actually not the state with the most out of control inflation. I thought it would be, because obvious reasons, but the reality is they're not. Let me go into why. First, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave 5-star reviews. I'm going to go ahead and put the 5-star review link in the section below. I just tested it. It is working, but for some people, it is not working. If it's not, just Google disability resolution PA or disability resolution law firm. It'll pop right up on Google. All right, let's get into this. So here's the deal with California. California, we looked at the index, the grocery, the housing, the utilities, the transportation, the health, and the miscellaneous. These were the categories that we used to figure out exactly where on the scale it is when it comes to inflation. If it has high inflation numbers, right, over here, that means the COLA increase that you receive, probably around 8.7, will not help you as much. It'll actually hurt you because you're not getting enough money. If it's on the low end, and we know California is not going to be on the low end of inflation, we know it's going to be way up high. But if it's on the low end, then basically you will get more benefit out of that cost of living adjustment. Let's go into it. Now, here are some baseline figures. I'm going to do that figure, and then I'm going to give you California. A true middle ground figure would be essentially Montana. Index of 104.8. Okay, 104.8 for the index. California is at 139.8. So massive increase for the index. Groceries, right? So we're talking about, this is the middle of inflation. This is the middle level of it. Groceries, a state to use is again Montana, 102.5 on the scale, whereas California was 116.4. Next one, Utah, middle ground. They were at 108.2 for housing. 108.2 for housing. We scroll all the way down to California. We get, oh my God. Oh my God. I should be, it's horrible. 193.2. Utah, the middle ground, 108.2. Remember, because of how extreme, remember, California, there's actually a couple that beat California. New York is close, but they don't beat it. There's actually a couple that beat California, but 193.2 is the metric that we use, whereas the middle ground would be Utah at 108. Like a place where it would be really low, Mississippi, 68.5 for housing. All right, next one, utilities. 102.7 is your middle ground for Wisconsin. Again, Mississippi, super duper low, 89.7. We go all the way to California, 125. Once again, 125, still extremely high. Next one we go to is transportation. A middle ground for transportation of the inflation would be Pennsylvania. They kept it pretty good. That's 103.4. California comes in with 129.9. Again, 129.9 as the metric we use to evaluate it. So now we look to basically health. Okay, health for Wyoming, that's the middle ground, around 100. Health for Mississippi, which tends to be lower on most things, is around 99.6. There are lower ones, for example, like Alabama, 89.6. So California for health basically comes down to 110. That's not that bad. That's not that bad. So they kept their health within reason, but that whole health category for the most part is kept at a pretty low increase amount. So that means housing is out of control in California, by far absolutely the worst. Groceries obviously out of control as well, etc. Now we go to the miscellaneous category. Virginia is a good middle ground, 103. Mississippi, 92. California, 110 again, 110 again. So the miscellaneous items they kept down. Now, with that said, and I want to point this out, we're expecting the overall federal, across the line, the overall federal to be an 8.7% increase. Now, as you know, they've changed how they calculate the cost of living adjustment significantly to the disadvantage of the American people who receive retirement benefits, Social Security disability insurance benefits, supplemental security income benefits, etc. So they've made it so that people don't get as much when they calculate it. They've chosen different months, they've chosen different calculation methods, etc. I go to Jimmy Carter. I have researched now very deeply Jimmy Carter. People have argued that Jimmy Carter did not cause the massive inflation that he actually went through during his time period. And that's true. He did not begin the train, but he sure did pull that horn. He made inflation way worse with what he was doing. He was horrifically bad from a financial standpoint. Now, with that said, Jimmy Carter, 1981 for the upcoming, was 11.2. 11.2 in the comparison of how many years ago is like the highest back then. So 11.2. So remember last year was 5.9. Well, we've blown through that. Now we're at the 8.7. Realistically, it's probably in the 30s, but with the calculations of what we do, it's now at 11.9. So the bottom line is this. Jimmy Carter came in at 11.2 in 1981. If we were to recalculate it using their original calculation methods, it would that's Sweetie barking in the background. It would probably be more than 11.2. It would probably be worse than Jimmy Carter. So with that said, just keep in mind, this 8.7 is a bunch of baloney that they're probably going to give you at the federal level. Now, with that said, I got to go check on her because she's whining. She probably wants a treat. You hear her? That's her in the background, whining for no reason. Literally, she's already been fed twice for lunch, twice for dinner. It's not even 5 o'clock yet. It's ridiculous. So with that said, please keep in mind that essentially at the end of the day, your 8.7 is not going to cover much. But if you live in California where there is extreme inflation, especially with housing, you're going to be hurt the most. You're going to see it as one of the most heavy hit states when it comes to inflation. And the inflation is really going to rock you because your food, your housing are just going to be horribly detrimental to you. Now, with that said, the metric for California of 11.06, that's using around, and these are rough cut numbers, around what their numbers would be as a metric. So instead of being the federal rate of 8.7, like the average, California is more around using their style of calculation, 11.6. But you won't see that benefit because you're going to get the national average, not the state-specific average as a boost. But for certain SSI people, they also get a boost at the state level, which of course adds to why the state has to keep rising prices on everything because they have to be able to pay for that. All right, guys, have an absolutely wonderful day. I have to go through about 10 of these videos today. I'm going to be doing about 10 and then maybe a little bit more if I can. Attorney Walter Hnot, please remember to leave a 5-star review. Please like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. And basically, we'll go ahead and go to the next state after this. I will catch you a little bit later. And I guess my question to you, if I were to like sum it up, do you feel California is on track? Do you feel that their ways and means of inflation are being controlled? Or do you feel like it's out of control? Do you feel like it's rampantly out of control? Like where do you feel it's going at this point? I'm going to catch you at the next video. Let me go check on Sweetie. I'm sure she wants another treat and we'll go from there. Thanks so much, guys. Have fun. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.